Hey, Jason. Hey,
how are you?
I'm good. I am a college student here in Lynchburg, and I actually grew up in China.
Mm-hmm.
And my parents, they work over there,
Mm-hmm.
and so I got firsthand experience on growing up in China and
Well, tell us about it.
Life there, and just what the Chinese think in regards to abortions or.
Mm-hmm. Well, tell us what you think, because I had the guy who did the graphics on Invisible Empire had just come off a year prior, a 6-month stint over in China, and he described it as a place where there was people all over, they were very rude to one another, there were garbage in the streets, they felt helpless, that they couldn't stand up against the government. He said it was also a very criminal society because you were basically had to prove the other guy was guilty and not that you were innocent. Those were the basic takes. He hated China. But what did you think of China growing up there, Philip?
I actually loved it.
Really?
You get a good experience. I can speak Chinese. Talking with a lot of the locals there, especially like the taxi drivers, you find out that you ask them what do you think the #1 problem in China is. They'll say that it has too many people,
Mm-hmm.
and you find out that it's almost like a preconditioning by the media that tells them that we need less people. We need the women to only have one child, etc.
So from cradle to grave, they're raised to believe there are already too many people in the society, and then they have to find a solution in order to get down to less people, which is a dehumanization tool, which makes us less than a person. I appreciate the call, Philip. We're going to go to Ken in Maryland, and then we're going to hit the clip. Ken, you're on the line.
Hey, Jason, just want to give you kudos on your latest release.
Oh, thank you.
Really good film.
Well, what did you think was the best part, Ken? What was the I don't know, the best information or the part you enjoyed the most? What was it about Invisible Empire that was so good?
Actually, you got me on the spot. Actually, it's really nice how you put the graphics together. It was, I think mostly you put in some things that a lot of people don't really mention.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you kind of like it. It was like you have all these strings that are open, and they kind of like tie them all together. And that's a really good package for somebody who's just starting to learn find out about the New World Order. Mm-hmm. And it's a nice package for presenting the New World Order to somebody.
Excellent. So what else is on your mind, Ken?
I just got a question. Did you call into Christie's show on Thursday?
I don't even know who Christie is.
Christy Schakowsky. She has a program on another network.
No, I didn't call into any show. I did a radio interview, I think, Thursday and Friday, but it wasn't with a woman. Yeah. I did, I think, a Meros radio on Friday or Thursday. I've been doing a lot of interviews for Invisible Empire, but that one doesn't ring a bell, and I certainly didn't just call into a talk show.
Yeah, well, it was a radio program, and it sounded like you, and the comment that was made was very profound, and I was going to...
Well, good job, Ghost Jason, or whoever did that. I'd like to hear it. Someone will probably throw it up on YouTube. Appreciate the call, Ken. All right, we're going to go to this clip. Now, remember, the breaking news is 9/11 wasn't an inside job. I'm an establishment reporter. I was there. There's no way Building 7 was a controlled demolition. But I did hear Con Edison workers and other people talking about Larry Silverstein calling his insurance company to see if he could carry out a controlled demolition of Building 7. And then it falls into its own footprint. It falls into its own footprint. Let me repeat that. It falls into its own footprint. So let's hit the third skyscraper from Fabled Enemies. A key hub for intelligence was the Solomon Brothers building, also known as World Trade Center 7. This was a massive 47-story skyscraper that would have dominated most city skylines. At 5:20 in the afternoon, it would collapse into its own footprint. It also happened to be New York City's #1 spook house and operational center. It housed the Department of Defense, the Internal Revenue Services, the Security and Exchange Commission, the largest Secret Service office in the world, the largest CIA office outside of Virginia, and New York's Office of Emergency Management,
or OEM.
Beyond the haunting presence of those still missing in the rubble, Ground Zero is filled with guns, drugs, and secrets. Number 7 World Trade Center was also the New York office of the Central Intelligence Agency. The CIA ordered the building surrounded by FBI agents shortly after it collapsed. Since then, they have been searching for computers and a safe filled with classified documents. Government agents watched the construction workers through binoculars as they searched.
The OEM was where local government would rally in the case of an emergency, such as a terrorist attack or natural disaster.
The command center on the 23rd floor is bulletproof and bomb-resistant, with its own air supply and generators. It's linked to city airports, the Coast Guard, and the Pentagon. Computers will soon have detailed blueprints of every major building in New York City.
Surprisingly, it would be deserted when city officials Barry Jennings and Michael Hess arrived.
When the Office of Emergency Management did an activation, they always included our locale. I received a call shortly after the first plane hit. I got there, I had to be inside on the 23rd floor when the second plane hit. Upon arriving into the OEM EOC, we noticed that everybody was gone. I saw coffee that was on the desk. Still, the smoke was still coming off the coffee. I saw half-eaten sandwiches. And only me, Mr. Hess, was up there. After I called several individuals, one individual told me that to leave and leave right away.
Both would go on network television on 9/11 and make the claim they experienced explosions inside the building as they tried to evacuate.
I'll give you a live picture down Church Street. Fire crews now walking back toward the scene. We have seen them all morning trying to walk away, because what happens is every time a little piece of the building comes down, a huge black cloud comes at us, making it almost impossible to breathe or see anything in front of them. But now, at least for the past couple of minutes, it has been clear from this space back on Chambers in that area. So now they're walking back toward the World Trade Center. And as we keep letting you hear the personal stories, the survivor stories of exactly what happened inside the World Trade Center when that first plane went in, and of course the collapses since then, we're going to bring more of those to you now. Barry Jennings, you're on the 8th floor. You work for the City Housing Department. Explain to me the moment of impact.
Well, me and Mr. Hess, the Corporation Counsel, were on the 23rd floor. I told him we got to get out of here. We started walking down the stairs. We made it to the 8th floor. Big explosion. Blew us back into the 8th floor. And I turned to Hess. I said, this is it. We're dead. We're not going to make it out of here. I took a fire extinguisher and I bust the window out. That's when this gentleman here heard my cries for help. This gentleman right here. And he kept saying, stand by, somebody's coming to get you. They couldn't get to us for an hour because they couldn't find us.
You thought that was it?
I thought we're dead. I thought that was it.
We have Frank Uciardo back on the phone with us, Brenda, with some New York City officials. Frank, go ahead.
That's right. I'm standing here right now just off Broadway by City Hall with Michael Hess, who is the city's Corporation Counsel. Mr. Hess, you were trapped in, I believe, 7 World Trade Center. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, I was. I was up in the Emergency Management Center on the 23rd floor, and when all the power went out in the building, another gentleman and I walked down to the 8th floor where there was an explosion, and we've been trapped on the 8th floor with smoke, thick smoke all around us for about an hour and a half. But the New York Fire Department, as terrific as they are, just came and got us out.
When I made it to the 6th floor, and there was an explosion, the explosion was beneath me. Keep in mind now, it's pitch black in there. All the lights went out. So when the explosion happened, it blew us back. I'm thinking I'm standing on the landing. I'm actually holding on to a pole above us. Really? And I had to climb back up because Hess is yelling, what do we do now? I said, there's only one thing we can do, and it's go back up. Both buildings were still standing. Keep in mind, I told you the fire department came and ran. They came twice. Why? Because building Tower 1 fell, then Tower 2 fell. And then when they came back with all concern now, like, to get me the hell out of there. I was trapped in there for several hours. I was trapped in there when both buildings came down. All this time, I'm hearing all type of explosions. All this time, I'm hearing explosions. When they finally got to us, and they took us down to what they called the lobby, because I asked them, I said, when we got down there, I said, where are we? He said, this was the lobby. And I said, you got to be kidding me. It was total ruins. Total ruins. Now keep in mind, when I came in there, the lobby had nice escalators. It was a huge lobby. And for me to see what I saw, it was unbelievable. And the firefighter that took us down kept saying, do not look down. And I kept saying why. He said, do not look down. And we were stepping over people. And you know you can feel when you're stepping over people.
This building would fall into its own footprint at 5:20 in the afternoon at nearly free-fall speed. Almost 7 years later, there has still been no official reason given, but some have given the false impression that damage caused by the collapse of the Twin Towers brought 7 down. Despite the fact that no other surrounding buildings acted in this manner.